Okay, so last time all of you guys were insanely mad at me for choosing the wrong Lorinity video. So this time around, I chose her newest one. It's called I Tried All New Elite Specs. Are they any good? And hopefully, we'll gain some new insights watching this video. But for the love of God, please leave me alone. I get it. I made a little bit of a mistake, but I read the comments. So let's watch this one, and hopefully it'll be good.
So, it has now been 2 weeks since Visions of Eternity came out, and I have been having an amazing time playing it. New story, maps, metas, legendaries, and also 9 new elite specializations.
True.
In case you're unfamiliar, elite
The warrior
specializations
looks so good
are
in this one.
basically
The paragon,
subclasses
yeah,
for the
there it is.
existing 9 classes. An elite
I think it's
spec
called the
introduces
paragon.
new utilities, a new elite skill, and most importantly, a new class mechanic. These can really change how a class plays, and there will be
It really
lot
changes
of
how a
hype
class
for
plays.
these. So now that they're released, are these actually any good? I really wanted to answer this question properly, so for the past 2 weeks I have locked myself into my room and I learned every single new elite spec. And with
As
that,
you would expect
I mean,
from an MMO gamer.
I really learned every single new elite spec. I
Damn.
took them into open world, took them into lots of raids, strikes and fractals, and I also practiced lots on the golem. My goal was to hit 80% of the damage that the pro people from snowcross.com do, and it was a little bit of a challenge. This really forced me to learn the ins and outs of every new spec.
Oh
and
man, she's playing Luminary
Guardian.
Guardian.
Idea on how hard these
Dude, I love the fact that I chose Luminary Guardian. It's so much fun. He is so much fun. I'm having a blast. I'm actually waiting to hear what she has to say about this, because it's so great, but oh my god, the mechanics are insane. You have to cycle between so many weapons that my WoW brain can't handle that. It's too much information, but I'm learning and I'm adapting, and as much as I'm progressing, I think that this class is fire. It's one of the best. Like, I truly think that this is one of the best elite specializations, and I haven't played anything else, so, you know what? My opinions come to nothing, but at the same time, I don't care. I'm having a blast.
to play. And it also took a lot of time. Gosh, I played a lot of Guild Wars 2 this week. Fortunately, I had an amazing time, and I can now make this review of every single elite spec. Let's get started.
No
But
time
first,
having fun
some
is
quick
truly
general
wasted.
thoughts. I really enjoyed this new set of elite specs. While some clicked with me more than others, they all felt significantly improved over their beta
the conduit
versions,
looks sick.
and there wasn't a single one that I disliked playing. It felt so nice getting something big for each class. In the past 2 expansions, we didn't get new elite specs, but instead we got new weapons. That meant that if your main class weapon didn't fit into a build you enjoyed, you were kind of out of luck. Don't want to play heal Mesmer? Too bad. Soto's Mesmer rifle probably isn't for you. But in this expansion, each specialization has multiple playstyles, so it is a lot easier to find something you enjoy. This set of elite specs doesn't include new weapons. At first, I thought that I would really miss those. But for most specs, it ended up not feeling like a huge deal. I actually ended up playing with the Janfear Spears a lot, which, considering they're only a year old, still felt pretty fresh. Alright, now let's go over each of the new elite specs. Starting with the Ritualist, the new
so this is the
specialization
Necro.
for Necromancer.
Yeah.
Ritualist was actually a class in Guild Wars 1, and it's finally made its way to the sequel. Ritualist can enter Ritualist Shrouds to summon 3 different spirits. These spirits do an initial spawn attack, and after that they keep periodically auto-attacking. You can also press the new 5 skill for another special attack. So if you're smart, you wait a little bit for the spirit's initial attack to be done, and then you use skill 5.
Nice.
This means that, unlike in the beta, it's actually worth staying in your shrouds for a little bit. Normally, the spirits disappear when you leave shrouds, but with a trait they also stick around after. I think that's way cooler, so I used that trait pretty much the entire time. Each spirit has a rupture skill that you can use.
I like that.
In the beta, that would also destroy your spirits, but now it actually doesn't. This means you can spawn your little army of spirits and then use their rupture skills whenever you want. These skills are really strong for DPS, support, and utility. I had a lot of fun playing Ritualist on both DPS and healer. I actually think it's one of my new favorites. It flows really well, it's very easy to play, and it's also super
That's really
powerful.
cool. I love the fact that you can choose
very
between
much
damage
expect
and heal.
Ritualist to get nerfed. But still, I wouldn't be surprised if Ritualist becomes the most popular specialization in this expansion. It's got everything. It's fun, powerful, easy to play as both DPS or healer, and it has a really awesome theme. If there is any criticism I have for the spec, it is that there are now spirits
Dude, the music
everywhere.
is sick. What the hell is
A ton
that?
of people are playing ritualists, so on any open vault boss, you just see a huge army of green spirits everywhere.
Yeah, I've seen them.
I would
Now
really
I know
like to
who
see
they
an
belong
option
to.
hide other people's spirits, because the visual noise can definitely be a loss. Next is Elementalist, my original main, but now
Evoker.
with the evoker specialization. Evokers specialize in one specific element, and it also gets you
Oh.
a cute spirit animal friend. There is the fire fox, the water otter,
Fire
the
fox,
air
I get it.
hare, and also
I get it.
the rogue frog. Some people call that last one the earth toad, but I like calling it rogue frog way more. Whatever attunement you pick gets recharged faster, so you can use it more often. And using skills in that attunement also charges your spirit faster. Let me explain. Each weapon skill you use charges your spirit.
Okay.
And when your spirit is fully charged, you can order it to
Oh,
do a
you can
fancy
swap?
skill. After doing that 3 times, you get an even fancier skill.
Oh, wait, what?
It's actually a pretty neat concept.
That
There's
sounds
also
sick.
a trait which lets you
Whoa, that sounds really fun, actually. I love this type of things. You know what? I thought whenever I'm having an ult, because one day I'm gonna have an ult, it's going to be Mesmer, but nowadays I think it's Engineer or like Elementalist. They look so dope. Like, that's crazy good. It looks extremely fun.
specialize into one attunement so that you're locked into it. Fire Wizard Rejoice. When this was first announced, I thought this might be kinda boring, just spamming the same couple skills over and over, but there's actually a really satisfying rhythm to it. The spirit skills reduce your cooldowns, and it feels really satisfying to time it all correctly, get
Yeah.
all your skills on cooldown, and then reset them all at once. It kind of feels like you are clearing 4 lines at once in Tetris. I played a lot of fire-only evoker, and right now it's just a little bit OP. The optimized rotation is actually a really short, easy to memorize loop, but there is a decent amount of skill required to execute it perfectly. It is very fast, but there are also moments where you need to be careful not to go too fast. I found this single element fire evoker to have much more depth than I expected. It just feels so different from any other Elementalist build, and if anything, it reminds me a little bit of playing Berserker. There are also power builds with the bunny, heal builds with the otter, super survivable builds with the frog. I am so excited to try them all, and as an Elementalist fan, I am very happy with this spec.
Looks insanely
It's definitely
fun.
not just the cute animals. And now it is time for the long-awaited musical
Oh yeah, I've seen one of
Mesmer
these.
spec.
It looks
the
dope.
Troubadour. Troubadour?
Troubadour.
Troubadour. Troubadours give up their clones and instead gain notes. Instead of shatter skills, there are now instrument skills that you can play for different effects. After
Okay,
you finish
so
your
basically
instrument
the
skill,
Bard class.
your notes get consumed, and a magical version of the instrument keeps playing in the background. The more notes were used up, the longer the magical instrument keeps playing. I really wish I could do this IRL. This may sound kinda complicated if you haven't tried it, but it's actually fairly straightforward. It's like you've got this mini game, trying to get notes, playing instruments at the right time, and trying to get this little orchestra going in the background. It's really cool hearing more and more
That's
instruments
really
joining
cool.
the song.
Dude, I love this concept. What the hell? They cooked with this expansion. Like, all of the new elites thus far seem sick. What the hell? That's crazy. I thought Luminary was great. This is awesome. What the hell?
And when you get all instruments going, it feels awesome. You can then also use this crescendo skill, which gets stronger depending on how many instruments are playing. And
Yeah,
then
that's
every
cool.
time you use it, you have to say crescendo. Crescendo! Okay, that part's optional. If you ever
Bruh.
get tired of this instrument loop, you can actually mute it by turning down player instrument volume. But unfortunately,
Fair enough.
even if you mute your instruments this way, the background music of Guild Wars 2 still gets mostly muted. I really hope they fix this. Some of my friends who have played a lot of Troubadour told me they have barely heard the new expansion soundtrack. And that's
Aw,
a
damn.
huge shame because
That's
it's
understandable.
really good.
They need to
In
make
the
it separate.
beta,
She's
I
right.
found that the instrument minigame could be kind of frustrating if you didn't run a super optimized build. I'm happy to report that this is much better now. There is way more note generation and it feels a lot easier to keep up your instruments. Troubadour is an interesting twist on Mesmer and I love the theme. But honestly, I was also surprised at how little the instrument minigame.
And I love the fact that they actually stayed on theme with Mesmer, because it's like, yeah, you mesmerize people with music. It's an ability that Bard has usually in like games. They do have that, so they actually stayed on theme. I love that. This is great. This is my favorite so far, to be honest.
Changed the feeling of playing Mesmer. Maybe it's just that I've played
No,
Mesmer
you know what? Maybe the
lot,
evoker is slightly better.
To me,
I still love the
felt very similar to Power Virtuoso.
like the spirit animal thing. It was cool.
Felt very similar to Heal Chrono. There is nothing wrong with Troubadour. It's fun, well designed, and it's got a really strong theme. But it maybe didn't blow my mind quite as much as some of the other new specs. I don't know, maybe I just gotta play it some more. Next, let's talk about a spec that really did blow my mind.
Gailshot sounds crazy.
Gailshot for Ranger. Gailshot...
Yeah. Guys, you know I used to be an archer main in any MMO whatsoever. It's crazy. I don't know what happened to me. I got old, and as I grew older and my balls started to hit the ground, I started playing warriors. It's crazy. I never opt for ranged characters anymore. I just play melee. I don't know why. Something changed, man. Like, something changed. I'm broken beyond repair.
Finally gives Ranger a spec that is truly themed around archery. Yeah,
finally.
I know, it's kind of weird that it took this long.
Yeah, so many years.
Access to the new Cyclone Bow, which is a special weapon they can pop into whenever they want. Skills in the Cyclone Bow cost arrows, which you generate over time, get from disable skills with a trait,
this sounds
and
good.
get from guilshot utilities.
Oh, this may awaken the old me. Oh my. Oh wait, that actually looks good. This looks fire.
Cyclone Bow skills then gives you Wind Force. And once you have 5 Wind Force, you can unleash Hawkeye. Potentially the coolest skill in all of Guild Wars 2.
Damn.
You jump into the air, do a 360 no-scope, and get this epic hawk sound.
That's
Gailshot
good.
has a really fluid skill loop. You go for your regular weapons, use their skills, build up arrows, and then you switch to your Cyclone Bow. In Cyclone Bow, you build up Wind Force and then unleash Hawkeye. Throw in your utilities every 2 loops, and your elite skill every couple loops, and you are off to the races. It's easy to understand, powerful, mobile, and you can play it fully ranged. For me, it really fulfills that OG Ranger fantasy, and I think it's probably my favorite Ranger spec ever. This will definitely be one of my go-to DPS builds going forward. Next, let's talk about the Amalgam, the new spec for Engineer. Amalgams take control of a special moldy ooze, which can shapeshift into all kinds of tools. The theme is a little bit out there, but I actually like it a lot.
What is
Instead of your regular Engineer toolbot skill.
God, what is that? It reminds me that Terminator 2 guy. Yeah, do you know who I'm talking about? It actually reminds me of him. What is that? That's kind of weird.
You get a whole special skill bar, which you can fill with more skills of your choosing. You can pick the ooze sword, the ooze hammer, the ooze spikes. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's literally him. That's literally the same.
It really feels
that's
like
the guy.
A new dimension to the class. You also get an evolve skill, and this skill's effects depend on which morph skills you pick. Depending on your build, your evolve skill can heal you, give you stability, give you damage buffs. It is very customizable. I mostly played Power DPS Amalgam, and on this build you pick a trait that makes your evolve skill recharge all of your morph skills. This is so much fun. On this build you set up some buffs, then you use all your morph skills while you are buffed, and then you reset them all, and you use them all again. It feels super...
You know what? That's pretty cool. I actually like that. I did not expect to like it. It looked kind of odd at first, but it's pretty dope. Yeah, this seems cool. I like that. All the morphing and stuff. You know what? That's pretty fire. I'm impressed.
Satisfying, and it's surprisingly not that hard to execute. It reminds me a lot of something like Soul Beast. But Amalgam is also very versatile. If you pick different morph skills and traits, you can become incredibly survivable, letting you easy solo events in open worlds. You can also give alacrity to allies, or even become a healer. I do think that Amalgam can sometimes feel a little bit like Scrapper with extra steps. You're still using the same weapons and the same kits that you're used to, but using the new morph skills just feels so incredibly fun.
Yep.
I love Scrapper, and this build just feels like more fun Scrapper. I am a huge fan. And then we have one more medium armor spec. The thief becomes the antiquary. This theme is also a little bit out there. The thief has teamed up with a squid friend who will steal artifacts for you. You can then pick from these artifacts and use them in combat. It is very wacky, and while I personally love it, I do get that the theme doesn't appeal to every thief main. It seems like you either love it or hate it, and the community seems pretty split. For this video, I played Condition Antiquary with Scepter Dagger, and I gotta say, I was very impressed by the gameplay. You kinda just use your squid skill of cooldown, getting different artifacts each time. It feels almost like you're rolling a slot machine.
That's weird, yeah.
The key to being a good antiquary.
You know what? That's odd, but it's so good that they added something that is so unique. Not many people would play it. Because the people who would, they would enjoy it to the end of their days. So it's actually really great that you have this in the game. Even if it's not everyone's cup of tea, the people who would enjoy this would appreciate the developer so much for putting it in. Like, that's good. That's a great decision. I love it. I always said, if you love every class in a video game, they're doing something wrong. Like, this is good. This is great.
Antiquary is knowing exactly which artifacts are the ones that you want. You want to choose fast, but you also want to make sure you choose the right one. The reason I like this so much is that it is very
seems incredibly difficult
any build I have ever played in Guild Wars 2 before. There is no set optimized rotation. You're just kind of reacting to what the game throws at you and trying to make the best of it. The elite skill is hysterical. You summon a little army of squids who start frantically feeding you artifacts. So it's like the build speeds up and you're desperately trying to pick the right artifact each time. But you also have to watch out, because sometimes the squids give you a bomb which damages you if you pick it. It's really wacky, but it's also really fun. Antiquary is also extremely powerful right now, and I found it pretty easy to play on the golem. However, I will say that I found it a lot more difficult to play on real fights, because suddenly you're also dodging, doing mechanics, all while you're playing this artifacts minigame. This can be difficult because on Antiquary, you kinda have to look at your UI a lot. I think this is the perfect build for people who hate following a list of skills and prefer reacting on the fly instead. I still need a lot of practice with Antiquary, but I'm definitely excited to keep playing it. Now, let's move on to the 3 heavy armor classes. Starting with Paragon,
this
the
one
new
looks dope.
warrior specialization. For the
I heard he's a healer,
time,
mostly.
Warrior was a class that didn't really do healing.
Yeah.
Then, 2 years ago, the staff weapon from Soto finally made heal warrior a thing. But it still felt a tiny bit awkward. There just wasn't really a warrior specialization that felt like it was designed to be a healer. Until now. The Paragon is also a class from Guild Wars 1, and it's now here as the Warrior's Heal specialization. You get these new chant
he looks
burst
so
skills,
good.
which have an initial effect and then keep pulsing effects over time. This pulsing drains your motivation points, but you can get more by using burst skills or by swapping weapons. The more motivation you have, the stronger the pulsing effects are. As a heal Paragon, you mostly want to stick to your healing chant, because it pulses a lot of healing. But every once in a while, you want to pop into your F2 for extra boons and motivation points, and then go back to your healing one. You can also pop over to your F4 for stun break and stability. It's a fun mechanic, and I honestly really enjoy Heal Paragon. It's very different from other healers that I've played, and it feels way more chill and less awkward than Heal Berserker. You don't have to worry about hitting enemies just to keep up your Berserk mode, like you have to do on Heal Berserker. This makes it way less annoying to play in something like a Fractal. However, I am not quite as positive about DPS Paragon. DPS Paragon feels a little bit on the weaker side, but I'm sure that the balance will get better.
It's fine. It's okay. You can swap between elite specs. It's okay that Warrior has 3 really good DPS specs and 1 good heal. That is completely fine. And it's on theme too. It's actually really on theme for like a Paragon to be a Warrior and also heal. Like, it reminds me of Tyrael from Diablo. Like, this is really great. I love that. That looks insanely good. This is something I would have 100% played.
My main issue with it, however, is that it's just kind of boring. You always stay in your F2 chant for the DPS bonus. Every once in a while you press it for the active effects, but that's it. That is all the Paragon stuff you really do. Apart
That's
from
if you
that,
play
it's
DPS.
just
It's
your
okay, yeah.
regular warrior gameplay. I think Heal Paragon is really enjoyable and really well done, but I just wish there was a little bit more to DPS Paragon. Next, let's talk about the DPS build that I
There it
found
is.
less boring.
There it
This
is.
is Luminary,
Finally.
the new specialization for
The
Guardian.
best one.
I love this one.
Yeah, of course. Of course you are. Of course you do. You know what? It makes sense. Great minds think alike. Now, that being said, I chose Luminary over all the other specs. It's because this one seemed the most on theme for a Guardian, and it just reminded me of Jorvin, a character that I really love from League of Legends, both from like the game and the lore. And it's so good. It's just so much fun. I'm so glad that I chose it. Even though he's extremely difficult for me to just understand and grasp right now, he's really good. He has some really mean rotation, but it's worth every damn time invested into it.
Luminary has a kind of mixed response in the beta, but they really managed to turn it around. There is a lot of positivity around this spec now, and I also like it a lot. Luminaries get this Radiant Brazier, which lets them go into Radiant Forge. Once you're in there, every skill represents a different Radiant weapon. There's a hammer, a staff, a sword, and a shield, and they all also have a flip over skill. Your last used weapon also gives you a buff, so DPS players probably want to end on the hammer for a damage bonus.
You want to start with the hammer and you want to end on the hammer. Always. And you want to constantly swap, but it's so crazy. Even talking about this is such a crazy rotation. And once you add the alacrity buff that you take on the tree, and you add the cooldown buff that you take on the tree, where you can use just basically spam virtues, because your virtues cooldowns goes lower every time you swap a weapon, it's insane. Like, it's absolutely crazy. You need to press so many buttons and understand what you're doing and min-max your rotation. It's so much fun. I'm having a blast right now.
While healers want to end on the staff for a heal bonus. There are new virtues, which can power up your Radiant weapon the next time you use them. It feels like there's just a lot of depth to this specialization, and the first build I tried was the Power Luminary. On this build, the Grandmaster trait makes it so that you can kind of blow up light aura. You apply light aura to yourself with lots of skills in your kit, and then you blow it up for damage by using luminary skills. This is a fun little minigame, and of course you also want to go into your Radiant Forge to use your hammer skills. All of this combined makes Luminary a really intense, fast-paced DPS build with a lot of unique flavor. It's definitely not a build for the faint of heart, but if you're looking for a build with lots of interesting mechanics, this is the one for you. It also just looks and sounds amazing. Gosh, I love these sound effects. I also briefly tried out Heal Luminary, which kind of surprised me.
I didn't know you can do that.
It's not nearly as fast-paced as the DPS builds, and it actually feels less overwhelming than Heal Firebrands. If Heal Firebrand always had too many skills for you, maybe Heal Luminary will be your thing. And then there is just one specialization left, the Conduit for Revenant. Conduits channel the mysterious mist being Raza, gaining access to a new legend and new F skills. Raza sort of adapts to the other legend you pick. For example, if you pick Malix, the Raza lead does extra conditions and Raza's Connie skill gets stronger. But if you pick Shiro, Raza becomes better at power damage instead. I think this is a fun mechanic on paper, but in the beta, it felt like Conduit was missing something. Like there weren't enough new fun skills, fun new buttons to press. In the beta, it was actually my least favorite new spec. Fortunately, the developers really listened to feedback here, and I think that they made Conduits a lot better. In the beta, you only had one F skill, Cosmic Wisdom, and this skill was honestly just kinda boring. It gave you some buffs depending on your current legend, but it felt really passive and uninteresting. Fortunately, Cosmic Wisdom has a way more interesting effect now, and there's also a new
I'm not gonna lie, I really don't understand the Revenant yet. I get the fact that he controls like multiple ghosts of past heroes. I still don't get it. Like, do you swap constantly between them? What the hell are these percentages? There's so many buttons. Like, Revenant seems so cool. I need to open one to actually learn it. I need some hands-on experience for sure.
Called Release Potential. This skill also depends on your current legend, but it is an active skill. As you spend energy within a legend, you also get these affinity stacks, which then make Release Potential more powerful. This sort of encourages you to use Release Potential after you have already been in a legend for a while. I hope that this doesn't all sound way too complicated. It makes a lot of sense once you try it. All in all,
Sure.
Conduit now feels much more fully
Of course.
featured, and it also feels much more fun. I played this Conduit build from Snowcrows, and it reminded me a lot of this old Renegade build I used to play. It flows well, but it is not easy. You have to be really fast to pull it off. But even if you mess up, Conduit is currently so OP that it will still do a ton of damage. This spec is definitely getting nerfed. In conclusion, I
Really?
had decent fun with Conduit. It didn't blow me away like gailshot or ritualist, but it feels much better than it did in the beta, and I am excited to keep practicing it. Alright, and that was all 9 new elite specializations.
Okay, fair enough.
Wow, this has become a pretty long video. I really hope that you enjoyed watching it. As you
I
can probably
have.
tell, I've been having a lot of fun with the new elite specs. It just feels like every single one of them is well designed, and they make the whole game feel fresh
Yeah,
again.
she is absolutely right about that. I'm actually so surprised because I only know the luminary from this expansion, obviously. Guild Wars 2 really lacked when it came to class identity, and I still say that. Like, I'm still gonna say that. You guys, we've been having this fight for so long. I'm not even gonna bother this time, but I will always think that Guild Wars 2 class identity is kind of all over the place. But at the same time, damn, that was really good progress. I think they actually nailed class identity with this expansion. If you want to ask what a good class identity is, just this. Like, this is good. They actually stayed on theme. I love that. This is great. Keep doing more of that.
Even if I do have some points of feedback. Let me know what you think of the new elite specs in the comments below. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop by my Twitch stream over at twitch.tv/Revenant. I stream Guilds 2 5 nights a week, and I also have a ton of new videos coming up.
Man, she's
so
committed.
Stay tuned for those. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next.
Great video. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. You guys can watch it for yourself. Give her a like and a sub if you haven't already. Fantastic video. I'm so glad you guys have actually told me to watch this. It was worth the hate. Now, not the video itself, obviously, just my old video, because, you know, you were so mad that I actually chose to watch an outdated one, which is, like, fair enough. It was funny. But at the same time, incredible video. I'm glad I watched that. Now, that being said, what did I like the most? Outside of Luminary, which is what I chose, goddamn, I don't know why, the Evoker, man, it looks so good. The Evoker and gailshot, these two are the best. Like, these two are 100% what I like the most. Troubadour, maybe number 3. Again, ritualist, just not my cup of tea. I'm not a huge fan of, like, necros. It's okay. The amalgam, kind of iffy. Not really that sure. Antiquary, kind of cool. Kind of cool, not gonna lie. This is something I would have to try for myself. Paragon is definitely dope, but yeah, I mean, also Conduit was pretty cool, even though I didn't get much. But definitely the top 2, gailshot and evoker, right? Outside of Luminary, obviously, like, these 2 are great. This looks so much fun. I actually want to kind of open a gailshot right now. I'm not gonna lie, or evoke, like one of these 2. It seems incredible. Maybe an ult, like, for sure. But yeah, I mean, it was a great video nonetheless. Thank you guys so much for recommending it to me. It was awesome.